Welcome to FSE News for Friday, March 14th, 2025. I'm Rex Riley. For FSE announcements this month, Flight Sim Economy is funded for another 2 years. The biannual fundraiser was a success and it only took 48 hours to raise the funds to keep the party going. Thanks to all who donated. Just a reminder that Flight Sim Economy is completely free to play, and unlike other online worlds, you can't use real money to pay for flights, airplanes, FBOs, fuel, or anything else. The FSE 2020 Hindsight Contest started on December 8th and continues through the end of February, so you still have time to win a piece of FSE history. In honor of FSE's 20-year anniversary, the Bank of FSE bought back from the players the original 20 aircraft flown when FSE first launched in March 2005. For more information and a short tutorial, see www.fsenews.com/2020. FSE News is giving away an airplane each month. The FSE News March giveaway is a Cessna 208. The March drawing is on March 7th, 2025, and entering is easy. To win the March Cessna 208, watch the FSE News Cessna 208 2-minute Tech Talk during the February FSE News Show and enter the code listed at the end of the Tech Talk segment on the form at the FSE News website at www.fsenews.com. The Flight Sim Economy Airport database is being updated for the first time ever. The intent of this policy change is not to make FSE reflect the real world or any particular simulator in whole or in part. The intent of the policy is to enhance the existing FSE game world. All simulators will need to continue to make adjustments to match up that simulator's world with the fictitious FSE world. To see more about the upcoming FSE Airport database, see www.fsenews.com/abd. A quick congratulations to Westridge, a real-world pilot and longtime FSE member who spent all his FSE V-Cash on his home airport, KTCL, in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It's a big deal to a lot of FSE members when we can get our home airport. If you're flying near KTCL, be sure to stop in for fuel or repairs. FSE News will be back right after this. VATSIM is a completely free online platform which allows virtual pilots wherever they are in the world to connect their flight simulators into one shared virtual world. VATSIM also simulates air traffic control in this virtual world, creating the ultimate as real as it gets experience. Get started today at www.vatsim.net. The FSE Black Box is the monthly statistics for the FSE World. You can find it on the forums under the FSE Reporter menu at the top of the page. Flight Sim Economy Black Box statistics for the month of January 2025 show that there were 1,427 active pilots who flew 48,601 flights, totaling 8,327,513 miles, over 40,082 flight hours, from 9,038 airports, and they delivered 273,643 assignments using 4,899 aircraft. KAMN was the airport with the most operations with 791 flights. The airport used by the highest number of pilots was KLGA, which was used by 71 pilots. January's most used aircraft was the Cessna 208, flown by 337 pilots for 4,844 flights. The FSE flight group with the most flights was GGS Alliance with 2,717 flights, and Eastern Hops had the most active pilots with 29 pilots. Real Ace was the pilot who flew the most hours in January with 111,338 flight hours, and TT Crashworst, my apologies if I said that wrong, made the most flights with 382. You can see all the FSE Black Box data at www.fsenews.com/blackbox. Sequoia Flight School is a flight sim economy simulator flight school with free online courses to help you become a better simulator pilot. Our first FSE News 2-minute Tech Talk segment is on the Cessna 208 Grand Caravan, the most flown aircraft in FSE. The Cessna Grand Caravan is known for its dependable and efficient performance by regional airlines, charter operators, and cargo carriers worldwide. The Grand Caravan turboprop was engineered for challenging missions, high payloads, and short, rough runways while delivering single-engine economy and simplicity. The Grand Caravan has a reputation as a revenue generator. It carries up to 13 passengers on flight sim economy with an increased speed and climb capability, plus a takeoff ground roll of only 1,399 feet. Its powerful Pratt & Whitney engine delivers 867 horsepower for dependable payload performance and superior efficiency. The Grand Caravan's maneuvering speed is 130 knots and its maximum operating speed is 175 knots. Takeoff speed is 70 knots with 20 degrees flaps and 20% trim. On landing, your stall speed with flaps at 30 degrees is 61 knots. Approach speed with flaps at 30 degrees is 80 knots, and your approach trim with flaps at 30 degrees is 17%. The Cessna 208 Grand Caravan is one of the most flown aircraft of flight sim economy, so we'll be running regular training features on this aircraft. Be sure to tune in to FSE News each month for another Cessna 208 2-minute Tech Talk. The FSE News February airplane giveaway is a Cessna 208 Grand Caravan in Flight Sim Economy. To win the Cessna 208, fill in the form at the FSE News website at www.fsenews.com/winfeb208. The page is password protected and the password is lowercase FEB208. The secret code to enter is WINFEB208, WINFEB208. The Cessna 208 drawing is on March 7, 2025. The winner will be notified by PM on the FSE forums and the results announced on the March 2025 episode of FSE News. Thanks for playing. Good luck. FSE News now has a flying group. The FSE News Flying Group offers 60% pilot pay with 50% of group profits paid back to pilots at the end of the month on a per-run basis. Flight Sim Economy pilots can join today at www.fsenews.com/group. FSE News is launching a classifieds section with planes for sale, FBOs for sale, fuel and stuff, and help wanted ads for FSE business owners. Here's the details and how to get started. The FSE News Classifieds has sections for planes for sale, FBOs for sale, fuel and other stuff, and help wanted ads for FSE business owners. Classified ads are 10 seconds long with mostly generic graphics unless you have photos or videos. The planes for sale, FBOs for sale, fuel and other stuff, and help wanted sections have 10 10-second ads each. Classified ads are V25K, and FSE News makes the video for you. Classified ads are available on a first-come, first-served basis, so be sure to get your ad in ASAP. See full details and order your ads at www.fsenews.com/ads. Destinations is a monthly feature on interesting places in flight sim economy. Our first Destinations segment is sponsored by Sequoia Flight School. In preparation for the eventual U.S. entry into World War II, the United States Army Air Corps sought to expand the nation's combat air forces by asking civilian flight schools to provide the primary phase of training for air cadets. Consequently, it contracted with 9 civilian flying schools to provide primary flight training, with the graduates being moved on to basic and advanced training at regular military training airfields. The original Sequoia Field Airfield had a 2,300-foot turf runway. Sequoia Field had up to 6 auxiliary airfields in the local area. The Visalia Danuba School of Aeronautics conducted basic flight training under contract until inactivated in October 1944. The primary use of Sequoia Field was basic flying training of flight cadets. Ryan P-22s were the primary trainer used. Several PT-17 Stearmans and a few P-40 Warhawks were also assigned. The 9 weeks of training provided by civilian flight schools included 65 hours of flight instruction in addition to the standard ground school curriculum provided by the Air Corps. In flight sim economy, Sequoia Field is home base to Sequoia Flight School, a free online flight sim training course. Watch for more videos about Sequoia Field on the Sequoia Flight School SFS TV channel at www.sequoiaflightschool.com. Sequoia Flight School is a flight sim economy simulator flight school with free online courses to help you become a better simulator pilot. This month's ground school is a 2-minute look at the airport traffic pattern. Airport traffic patterns ensure that air traffic moves into and out of an airport safely. Here's a standard rectangular traffic pattern. The traffic pattern altitude is usually 1,000 feet above the elevation of the airport surface. The use of common altitudes at a given airport is the key factor in minimizing the risk of collisions at airports without operating control towers. The traffic pattern is normally entered at a 45-degree angle to the downwind leg, headed toward a point abeam the midway of the runway to be used for landing. The pilot should ensure that the entry leg is of sufficient length to provide a clear view of the entire traffic pattern and to allow adequate time for planning the intended path in the pattern and the landing approach. Entries into the traffic patterns while descending create specific collision hazards and should be avoided. The downwind leg is a course flown parallel to the landing runway, but in the opposite direction to the intended landing direction. This leg is flown approximately half a mile to 1 mile out from the landing runway and at a specific traffic pattern altitude. When flying on the downwind leg, the pilot should complete all before landing checklists and extend the landing gear if the airplane is equipped with retractable landing gear. Pattern altitude is maintained until at least abeam the approach end of the landing runway. At this point, the pilot should reduce power and begin a descent. The pilot should continue the downwind leg past a point abeam the approach end of the runway to a point approximately 45 degrees from the approach end of the runway and make a medium bank turn onto the base leg. The base leg is the transitional part of the traffic pattern between the downwind leg and the final approach leg. Depending on wind conditions, the pilot should establish the base leg at a sufficient distance from the approach end of the landing runway to permit a gradual descent into the intended touchdown point. The final approach leg is a descending flight path starting from the completion of the base to final turn and extending to the point of touchdown. This is probably the most important leg of the entire pattern because of the sound judgment and precision needed to accurately control the airspeed and descent angle while approaching the intended touchdown point. Flying the pattern in flight sim economy, especially for new pilots, is easier and will save a pilot more time than trying to fly straight into the runway. You don't have to be a real pilot to have an exciting and enjoyable career in flight sim economy, but understanding the procedures and flying the simulator correctly is actually much less stressful and much less time consuming than trying to land on a wing and a prayer. Beta testers are wanted for the Sequoia Flight School Basic Sim Pilots course. It's free and open to the public at www.sequoiaflightschool.com. FSE business owners can now advertise on FSE News. Each episode of FSE News has one 10-second blurb for every 50 seconds of content, and we have 3 30-second ads per episode. See full details at www.fsenews.com/ads. Our second 2-minute Tech Talk segment is on the Beechcraft King Air 350, which is the second most flown aircraft in flight sim economy. At first sight, the Beechcraft King Air 350 stands out from its counterparts due to its sheer size. With a 58-foot wingspan, the King Air 350 handles turbulence and weather better than most turboprops. The King Air 350 cruises at 320 knots per hour. Like many jets, the King Air 350 boasts a common altitude in the mid-30s. With a range of more than 1,800 nautical miles and with the previous mentioned speed, the King Air 350 crushes the turboprop market. What sets it apart from the mid-sized jet market is its ability to get in and out of smaller fields. In fact, thanks largely to its robust landing gear, the King Air 350 is able to complete missions to vastly inferior runways. Thanks to its high rate of speed, superior range, and luxurious creature comforts, the King Air 350 sits atop the throne of the turboprop world. However, with similar performance numbers and operating costs being a fraction of the price compared to a mid-sized jet, the King Air 350 also makes for a stellar alternative to an expensive jet. In flight sim economy, the KA350 can carry up to 14 passengers at 258 knots cruise speed and can carry almost 2,000 kilos of cargo with 50% fuel and 14 passengers at 80 gallons of Jet A per hour, making it one of the most efficient aircraft of flight sim economy. The Beechcraft King Air 350 is one of the most flown aircraft of flight sim economy, so we'll be running regular training features on this aircraft. Be sure to tune in to FSE News each month for another Beechcraft King Air 350 2-minute Tech Talk. Sequoia Flight School is a flight sim economy simulator flight school with free online courses to help you become a better simulator pilot. Admission is free and there's nothing that you have to buy or join. See the Basic Sim Pilots course at www.sequoiaflightschool.com. And our final segment for today's show is Sim Industry News. For your February 2025 Flight Sim Industry News, we have awards and expos. The Flight Sim Expo 2025 is North America's largest dedicated flight simulation convention, and it's happening at the Rhode Island Convention Center June 27th through 29th, 2025 in Providence, Rhode Island. See the Flight Sim Expo website for full details at www.fsenews.com/expo25. Lelystad, Netherlands is the location for the 2025 Flight Sim Awards, and 50% of the award votes come from the Flight Sim community, and you can participate online. Voting starts on February 14th, and the winners will be revealed live in Lelystad at the Captain's Dinner on Friday, March 14th, the night before the FS weekend. To cast your vote for the 2025 Flight Sim Awards, see the Flight Sim Awards website at www.fsenews.com/awards25. VATSIM is a completely free online platform which allows virtual pilots wherever they are in the world to connect their flight simulators into one shared virtual world. VATSIM also simulates air traffic control in this virtual world, creating the ultimate as real as it gets experience. Get started today at www.vatsim.net. And that's our show for today. Be sure to watch FSE News each month to stay informed about flight sim economy, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes or bulletins. For FSE News, I'm Rex Riley. Thanks for watching and happy flying.